Hi everyone and welcome to We Are Selling. Today we've got a cameras on edition where we have an interview from someone who's come through the real estate channels very fast and done very well. She joins me now, Kyra Curtis. Welcome aboard.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I remember meeting you at the Complete Salesperson course.
Yes.
And it was like your first experience to training or coming in.
Yeah.
And I actually said off the stage that day, I hope all of you one day end up on a podcast for a reason. And here we are.
I think we're around 18 months since I met you at that course. So
wow.
I'm just 2 years in sales. Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning with your background.
Yep.
Before real estate, take us into it.
Background before real estate was very nomadic in terms of what I was doing with my life. So I had a baby in high school. My goal from then was always to, I guess, beat the statistic and show that I'm not just going to end up nothing. I ended up having 4 children in a span of 8 years. My income was really just whatever could get us by, but my priority was being a mum and showing them a good leader. I fell into real estate after leaving a job in warranty. Warranty was a challenge, but it sure taught me to negotiate. So
define warranty just for our listener and the UK who are always listening.
So I worked for a caravan company and I looked after New South Wales, and every caravan that went out of the business for the first 90 days and beyond, it was all any issues with their caravans, going back to the manufacturer, going back to anyone who would have been involved and dealing with their warranty claims from start to finish. So it was finding the issue, finding who's responsible and negotiating a solution from there. So a very challenging job. No one ever rings and says, my caravan's great. It was very much the complaints hotline. So if anything, I feel like that prepared me for the world of real estate. I did step into property management, and I think that my negotiation skills from warranty really helped when you're sort of negotiating between a landlord and a tenant. And I will argue every day of the week that property managers negotiate harder than salespeople, because they're doing it with, however big their portfolio is all the time. But then stepping into sales, I was a bit nervy. Because I was very comfortable and quite good at what I was doing in property management. So I was like, this is a step forward and there's no spot for me back there. So it's a bit of a giant leap, but we got there and it just came naturally to me to be able to find a happy medium and be the conduit between the two parties, regardless of what the circumstance was. So,
and what's been the results in that 18 months?
Crazy results. So 2023 was when I started in July. My boss, Greg, handed me my first listing, which happened to be his family home.
Good one to start with.
Thanks. Actually, probably the most strenuous vendor I've ever dealt with in my life. It was a really good introduction to the process. Wasn't a brand new home. It was just your run-of-the-mill regional property. It really got me into the negotiation space and working with the buyer. And it's really funny, when I had wrapped everything up with the buyer and we were at settlement, she said, thank you so much. You were great throughout the whole process. And I was like, great, because this was my first one. So it was really cool to have that opportunity and the trust from my boss to be able to do that. And then it just rolled from there, sold signs create sold signs. And I'm working in a town that I grew up in with people that I know. So I guess I've already got a bit of a stamp on the place, which was really helpful. From there, it was really pushing to get my face out in town as Kyra, the real estate agent, not just Kyra, your friend, or Kyra from high school. And Rate My Agent have rewarded me tenfold with that. So I just took 2025's Agent of the Year for both Madawi and Karua, so their neighbouring suburbs.
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
How many transactions was in that?
There was 59 sales transactions with a volume of 47 million. But the thing I love about Rate My Agent is that it's not just volume based. It is genuine vendor feedback. And that's something that I always relay back to my vendors. It's, if you're looking for a trusted agent, this is the feedback that you want to see. And this is out of any award, I'm really happy to have that one because it's based on that feedback. And something that I will boast about, not only did I get Agent of the Year for Madawi and Karua, but I was also a top 5 finalist for New South Wales for Rising Star Agents. So very, very cool, very overwhelming, definitely cried like a baby. So.
And what do you feel, yes, you grew up in the town and Madawi's a tiny place.
It's growing.
So it's growing now.
Yeah.
And obviously you got the army base there, which is, the RAF. And with the RAF there, you've got a very close-knit community. Mm. What do you feel your connection was for people to entrust you to sell so much real estate?
I think for me, walking into people's homes and saying yes to the cup of coffee that they're offering and just sitting, not looking at my watch and feeling pressed for time, but really giving them the time. I know it's something that I need to try and balance, but answering my phone at any time, the work that you put into it will come back to you. So for a vendor to ring me at 6 o'clock at night and me answer, even if my kids, I've got 7 running around in the background, I think for me, it shows them that I am working for them and I do have the time for them. But yeah, my honest approach, I think, is what has sort of turned it around. I went to an appraisal just 2 days ago and I was the last agent through the door. And often I like to do that because I will say to them, I'm here, to be a friend and to help you with this transaction. A lot of people, you can build a house and then have never sold one. So it's new. This is why you're paying an agent. So you need to trust that I'm going to look after this process for you and I'll help you along the way. It took less than an hour from me walking out that door for her to ring and tell me that they were going with us. So it's just about establishing some kind of relationship that isn't a business transaction, more so a friendship.
Take us into the systems and structure that got you kicking along. Like, coming to do the course is great. It's a 2-day event. The manual's quite in-depth.
Yes.
A lot of people leave there thinking overwhelmed.
Yes.
But you didn't. You sort of took to it straight away.
Inspired.
What was your sequence for you?
Yeah. So when we were driving down, my boss said to me, because he's done a couple of these courses and it's a good refresher anyway, but he said, you're going to get an overwhelm of information. And I just want you to take at least 1 or 2 things from this and work on perfecting that. And for me, that was like a light bulb moment. So, listening to various speakers, they were talking about their strategies and how they work with people going in their homes. And I'll never forget, if you're 5 minutes early, then you're 5 minutes late. It's something that I say to myself for every appraisal. Claiming doors was a huge one for me. And if I could say that there was one thing that I took from there, that was it. So when I drive through my town, it's my hometown, as a local girl, I literally picture blue doors in those streets. I picture those are my contacts. Those are people that I talk to, whether it's a house that I've sold or not sold. It's someone that I've spoken to in the shops. It's someone that a lady that I helped with a trolley, but I know where she lives and I know that being that person in this town has helped me have that door. So yeah, I think for me, claiming doors was a big one. And I think that was what surprised you about me in the first place, because we were talking about the number of market updates that we had, and my number for such a short period quite shocked you. But I do think that I was fortunate enough to have that connection already in the town. So it's just building on that now.
How many price updates did you get up to?
I think I'm close to 2,000.
That is amazing. So the magic number was...
suburb. I think we're close to 2.
Wow. Sorry, how many dwellings are in the area?
3,500.
3,500. You're at 2,000 doors. Hence the numbers. There is no coincidence to claiming doors. That is absolutely phenomenal.
And it doesn't, to me, necessarily have to be a price update every 6 months. So that feels really rigid. We talked about how we can cater things to work for ourselves. Yesterday, I just rang someone and asked how they were going, and just a conversation or them hearing your voice. Often if I'm pushy with a price update, they're pushy with a, I'm not ready to sell. And I'm like, I'm not here to make you sign a piece of paper. I just want to say hello and let you know that I'm around. So it's just keeping those relationships going. And if it's just a 5-second conversation about how their family is doing or how mum's going, it's something, but they know who I am and what badge I wear.
Kyra, communicating with clarity, finding your own groove and breaking through is probably one of the hardest things people don't get right. They try and be someone else. They try and be an imposter.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
No.
Take us into that.
I mean, it's not ironic that I came in jeans with no makeup today. I like to tell people that I'm putting the real in real estate. My conversations with people are always founded on integrity, and I assure people that my actions are from a place of honesty. I don't sugarcoat anything. I get excited about the process for them. I have cried at many appraisal with little old ladies who are separating from their home of 40 years. So I think connecting with the person, and it's probably just something that I inherently have in me, but my ability to connect with people and see which direction they want to go in. I think the hardest part for real estate agents is the emotional value that a vendor is attached to for their home, whether the data supports that or not. Acknowledging that and giving them honest feedback, but also giving them a chance. Like, if you see the value in this, let's see if the market does. But I'm not going to buy your listing and say, yes, I can get that for you. Here's what the facts say, but let's try. And it surprised me over and over again.
Now, still part of this journey is you were a fiery
For a little while, I did volunteer firefighting. I think it was just over 5 years of firefighting. So,
What did you learn doing that?
I think for me, again, it was that connection to heart. There's quite a few significant moments that I remember, and they don't come from just your everyday fireground events, but traveling and doing like campaign fires. So the 2019-2020 bushfire season was absolutely horrendous. So we're fighting fires from July through to April, and they just spread all the way down the coast. But I remember being out the back of Grafton. It was probably about an hour into the bush in this little hilly nothing town. We were trapped at the top because the fire had cut through, and we were sitting at the captain's house, which happened to be the safest place that we could find. And there was a gentleman he struggled to speak English. He had a shack next door, and he was sitting with us the whole night. And I just went and sat with him, and I said, is there something that I can do for you? And he said, I can just see my house burning down. And I sat with him and I put my arm around him and I said, we can't take you there right now. And I could see it. I could see the smoke. It was definitely a structure of some type. And I said, look, we're in a safe place at the moment. As soon as we can get you back there, I promise that I'll return and take you back to your home to see what's there. And I kept that promise. We returned the next day when everything had settled down and we were clear to go back in. As much as it was a break in the rules, I put him in it's the smaller Cat 7 fire truck, just the ute style. And we went down his driveway, and much to our surprise, his home was still there.
Oh, wow.
I'm not talking home. I'm talking shack in the side of the hills, 3 tin walls, and the entire front of it was open with the most stunning view of the valley. But that is how he lived. He had a mozzie net over his bed. I do not know how, by some miracle, that place survived, but I was with him when we saw that. And the funny thing is, he said, I've got no food. And I gave him my rations for the day. And he said, you don't need to do that. And I said, no, I can get food when I go back. And he goes, all my sweet potatoes are now roasted, because he had a veggie garden that had been completely wiped. But those moments for me were like hard hitting and showed me the human side of things. So yeah, it was
what
rewarding.
An experience.
Very, very eye-opening. Very eye-opening. So,
and what got you into that?
My partner at the time was a firefighter, and if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
But I think once I joined, it had a drive that it done something inside me. I just wanted to see more and learn more. So I moved into structure firefighting and internal structure firefighting. So I got all of my breathing apparatus qualifications. I then went into teaching that. So we were doing demonstration structure fires and teaching people who'd never been inside a building that's burning at some 600 degrees Celsius. So yeah, there was a lot of that, but it was super rewarding. So, and I think for me, it was showing my kids that girls can do things too. And that's super important.
This is so amazing. I always say in podcasting world, no one thing happens in isolation.
No.
And everything connects along the way. It ends up becoming your own business groove and sequence.
Yeah.
But great salespeople, and a lot of people don't speak about this, but great salespeople are great leaders.
Yes.
You've got to lead the owner to a decision to sign the documents.
Absolutely.
You've got to lead the owner to understand pricing. You've got to lead the owner to accept an offer, even when they don't realise it's the best thing for them.
Yeah.
And teaching and leading are very connected, which is what's happened now. Take us into what you're doing in the business now.
So after just over 12 months in sales, I was promoted to sales manager, whether that was happenstance or whether I deserve to be there, actually. I'll take that. But I have a small team. Our office works as a team, so we're not...
Team-based office?
Correct. We're not sole agent. So it's myself. I have just taken on another staff member after giving another one the opportunity to find their wings elsewhere. I have our director and then Montana. So she's an office manager. She's very young. She's 20 years old. She started with us just over 12 months ago, but my gosh, what a mind. I call her my compliance police. She is the T, cross and the I dot on every single transaction. She follows the legislation. She makes sure that we're all doing what we're supposed to do, as much as we do that within ourselves, but it's a really good team-based environment. So that's my role at the moment. But yes, I've just taken on a sales agent that's working under my wing and hoping to create a bit of a Kyra 2.0 situation with him. So yeah, teaching him what I know and what I've been taught, and yeah, moving through, hoping to see him succeed, hoping to create a bit of competition between ourselves so that he pushes as well.
Very good. A lot of people struggle with implementation. You seemed not to do that. You were very good at breaking it all down, unpacking it and bringing it to the marketplace straight away, where people might take 5-6 years to do that. What did you do in implementation?
I think for me, absorbing as much as I could, acting a bit like a sponge, which is exactly what I've told my now partner. Just take in everything, listen to every phone call, adapt the language. So there'll be strategies that I use when I go to listing presentations that are literally word for word what I heard when I was learning. Granted, I adapt certain things that suit, and I'm a little bit more, I'm working in an office that's been in town for 40 years. I'm also a millennial. So I'm working more towards social media and pushing, modern technology has been my change, I guess, my little touch on the business. So yeah, sort of pushing the team to do that and then constructing a plan that works individually for each property. So it's not every property is the same, and not every property deserves the same strategy. So yeah, it's just about being open and seeing it for what it is.
Now at the course, we spend a lot of time discussing tech and technique. Mm-hmm. Social media marketing. Mm-hmm. I know you're coming to the Hunter Valley to do the course again,
I'm sending my co-worker to Hunter Valley, and I'm going to be doing the leader one in Sydney at Brighton Le Sands with you.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So when you take the techniques into the lounge rooms, what got immediate cut through for you? What worked straight away?
So we talked about staged marketing at that course. I think we can talk about it all day, but I think showing them what a staged marketing campaign looks like and how that can benefit them has really been helpful. Really slowing the process down has helped. I remember when I first sort of jumped in, I think I did an appraisal that was 15 minutes. I got back to the office and Greg's like, get back out there. What are you doing? Not feeling like you need to rush, really sitting and having a conversation with the vendor, because this is a huge thing for them. I met with a couple 2 weeks ago or something, and we sat down at their dining table. I always ask, and I think that came from yours, where's your favourite place to sit in the house? And I'll sit there because I'm family now. Yeah. So that was a big one. But I sat down at their table. We spoke through strategy, and they're in their 60s. But I spent probably 15, 20 minutes going through the power of social media and how that's going to help your marketing campaign. And they were seeking a price that hadn't been seen in that particular estate. And I was honest with them and said, it's hard when we don't have a comparable, and neither does the market, but I'm excited. Let's do it. And this is how we're going to do it. They said to me at the end of that listing that they were going to sign with me because in selling 9 homes, I think it was, not one person had ever sat down with them.
Wow.
And I was like, what are they doing? How did they get their message across? So that's been really important to me, sitting down, giving them the message. And although it can feel like a long, overwhelming bunch of information for them to absorb, I always let them know at the end that my follow-up email might seem like a novel, but it's going to highlight everything we've spoken about. And if there's anything that they need further clarification on, to give me a call. So it's really about giving them the power of the information and letting them make an informed decision, and not just saying, trust me, I've got this. You know what I mean?
Kyra, what you've just explained there is so important. It's not our job to price the property. No. It's our job to promote the property, to find out what the price is. But the owners don't want a massive price. They want a chance.
That's right.
And that word chance is so different to an expectation.
Yes.
They communicate it in a number. I understand that. And every owner has that right to have an expectation. But it's our job to bring that clarity and communication. But the fact I'm excited to do it. Out there.
The most beautiful story about that. So I met this lady. Actually, we did a campaign last year. Our office turned 40, and we thought it was a good way to claim doors. We gave away a car.
Oh, wow.
So we ran a 3-month campaign. All you needed to do to
what type of car?
It was a Hyundai, like a little SUV. I can't remember the
Love it.
Really good, brand new car. But we ran this campaign. We had the car. We were driving around town. It said, win me on it. All you needed to do to get a ticket was have us through your door. To book an appraisal, you got a ticket. To list your property, you got a ticket. And if you sold your property within the 3 months, we got a ticket. But for us, we made it through $299 in 3 months.
Wow.
That we had never been in before.
That's brilliant.
I thought, credit to my boss. It was his idea. Loved it, ran with it, did it. We went and saw this property. She was nowhere near complete. She was owner builder in a brand new estate. It was like something I'd never seen before in that estate. Hampton style, just the finesse was stunning. And you could tell her heart was in that build. It was so hard to price because how do you compare to something you've never seen before? And we were honest with her then. 12 months later, give her a call. Hey, how's it all going? Because she's now in my rolling thing. And she's like, actually, I've just been given a job opportunity and I need to go to market. But can you come around and have a chat? Because I've got a couple finishing touches. So I popped around, gave her some advice on her gardens and little things like that. And as much as that might seem like a waste of time, that's vendor nurturing to me. It was a 3-bedroom home on 500 squares, and we haven't seen a 3-bedroom home go for over 800,000 in that town forever, and not to mention a brand new one. They're all being built for. So I said to her, I was like, it's really hard to price this. And I gave her a price guide that I felt was reasonable. And I said, but my goal with this is to see as much as we can get. So long story short, we did what we did. We marketed the property, we did the video, we did the whole thing. It got 974. It was the highest sale for a 3-bedroom home outside of the golf course in ever for that property on a residential block for that area.
What advice would you give someone who's overwhelmed, been to the course? People say it's like getting a drink of water out of a fire hose. You've got the manual, you've got the audios, you've done your text backs.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for that activation and implementation?
Take one thing that resonates with you and excites you, master that, and the rest will flow. That's my advice. So just don't overwhelm yourself with a lot. Focus on one thing.
What was the one things or a couple of things you did to get going first? Like claiming doors was one?
It was definitely claiming doors.
And 2,000 doors now.
And building relationships. And for me, maintaining my authenticity and not losing myself in the process and becoming everything that I thought a real estate agent should be and look like. I think just walking into someone's home, no makeup, just myself. I'm here to do the best that I can do for you. And this is why you're going to get those results. And now I can show them proof of that. But yeah, it's just maintaining who I am.
Yeah, I think you've done really well on that connection piece of you're not going in trying to be someone you're not. You're very good at pitching to the audience that you've got. What is the average sale price?
The average sale price in Medowie at the moment is around 840. But we're seeing, I mean, even the last few months, I've set some pretty cool street records. So we just sold a 40-year-old home on 2 acres. Everything was very original. It was owner built. It was stunning. It just needed the right buyer. It got 1,675, which, 225 over the highest sale price in that street. So you bet I rang every number we had in that street and told them because it just means good things for them and their home as well. So, yeah, it's just about getting
everyone's
excited.
net cash position has
Everyone
changed.
Just went,
You've increased the profit for everyone.
Yeah, and again, that sort of flows from targeted advertising. So we knew for that particular kind of property where buyers were coming from, and a lot of our research helps us with that. So we are trying to stay ahead and work out where buyers are coming from, so that when we are targeting our advertising, we're hitting the right spots. So that buyer came from Windsor, and I absolutely knew they were coming from there. So,
and I absolutely love the car story, because if someone said we're going to get into 299 doors, which is a lot of doors, you would need a big marketing focus to do that. So the car's cost return on investment was actually really good.
Well, all we needed was to list and sell 2 properties to cover the cost, commission-wise.
Yeah.
So once we had that, we were like, all right, we're home free. Like, this has paid off tenfold. And whether it was we listed them straight away, or whether we, like this record breaker that we had the other day, we listed her over 12 months later, but we knew that our relationship and the way that we nurture relationships, all we had to do was get in that door.
Yeah.
So we've got 299 more doors than we had 3 months earlier than that. So
absolutely amazing. So take us into what's on your focus plan now. You've come through very fast. The leadership part of it's really important, how you've been able to lead people to transact.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of our listeners give that a lot of thought, but it's okay to have the listing and you're on the market. But if someone's not listening to you or don't feel they can take advice from you, you're not able to lead it to a transaction.
I think you've got to set the tone for that really, really early on. So it's one thing to get people to sign a piece of paper to say that you're going to represent them. You need them to trust you from the beginning. So yes, I want to see you get this price. Here's what the evidence says. Here's how I'm going to try. But I need to have those regular conversations with them about, like, if we're not achieving that, what are some strategies that we can do, or what are some prices that we're willing to sort of work with that we can achieve for you. So it's all just talking and negotiation the whole way through. And I think it's really important. And I've had some feedback from some listings that I've acquired along the way through that have had unsuccessful campaigns, is the constant communication needs to be kept, because you get a listing and it starts to fail. The agent just drops off the radar and stops talking. That's not how we finish our job. We need to keep talking. We're the professional. We need to give them our insight and see where it goes. So
I love before you mentioned the stage marketing, not just in dialogue, not just in theme, but staging it
As a
out to
practice.
find that buyer
Yes.
engagement level, to me is the most important way of selling real estate
Yes.
internationally. Take us into social. What have you learned about doing social marketing? Because it's right in your groove.
Yeah.
What have you done? What have you learned?
Actually, it's quite recent, but realestate.com brought out a social media
Maximizer?
element maximizer. Yep. We looked quite intently into that and we decided not to do it. As much as, it looked appealing and other agents are choosing it, for us, it really just drove traffic back to that website. And what happens when you go back to a website that's listing real estate? You've then met with all the competition from other real estates. So we got a little bit creative and found some other avenues. And we're currently working with an AI ad machine. It's targeted. It generates 80-something ad sets which push out and do all the magic. And it is directly linked. So when they click the Learn More button, directly linked to their listing on our website. So we've just...
Your home turf.
Home turf, reduced all the competition. And the appeal to that, when I'm saying that in an appraisal to a vendor, we've done all this homework for you. It's so that you can get the best out of your listing. Realestate.com, I don't care how many clicks our agency gets. I want your listing to get the clicks. So that was a big kicker for us and the reason we jumped on that bandwagon, and it's working. So I think they like the think outside the box. I think they like the realestate.com offered us this. We certainly looked into it, but here's another option for you. So it's all about just sort of strategizing and working out which way is the best for our client.
Buyer management, I would imagine you absolutely love it. Take us into that.
I love my VIP database. So, it's one thing to have a vendor and that relationship is integral and they're the one who at the end of the day are paying our bills. But without a buyer, you don't have a transaction. So at every open home, I'm talking to people, I'm getting to know people. We're about to host a first home buyer seminar to give, some information for them so that they can learn the process because it's so daunting, never buying a house, never knowing what to do, just getting thrown in the deep end. So we're going to just have some drinks and some food and talk about that process. But my connection with the VIP database has secured me multiple off-market deals at incredible prices because they know that they've been given an opportunity that they've beat the rest of the market to. My connection with buyers agents, my connection with other agents in the area, it's just all sort of like a patchwork quilt matching in to see that sort of success and overturn. So it's good.
Now, you're coming to Complete Leader this year, which will be exciting for you. And we've got some amazing female speakers on this year, which we get very excited about.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
It's very difficult to find enough females that will take the stage. There aren't enough females in this
industry. We need more. We need more people who are willing to talk.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
When you're at Leader, you'll see such a wide range of people and who have led teams to credible levels. Like they've got teams of 95 agents and so forth.
Crazy.
What attracted you to want to go to that and what do you want to get out of it?
I guess for me, I just want to keep learning. I don't want to just sit on my thumbs and go, I'm doing this, it's fine, it's working. To achieve so much so quickly, I got to keep that up now. Because how embarrassing if I was to just go backwards because I'm not wanting to learn. So going to the Leader course, I'm hoping for some fresh inspiration. I'm certainly hoping for some fresh connections. And yeah, if I can take one thing, I'm happy. So it's just about, continuing my development as a person and as a leader.
Your execution is obviously very, very good of something that inspires you to get it live in your world. And everyone gets the same information. It's the activation of it that makes a difference. How do you implement? What, have you got your own little sequence for that? What do you do?
A lot of nagging. So again, our office it's quite traditional. My boss is receptive to changes. A lot of time that I'm spending sort of implementing changes and then taking them to him and saying, this is why I think this will work. And he is receptive. So it's more just focus, put it into action, make it visual, show him, and it's away. So yeah, it's fun. I'm excited to see where we go and what changes can be made. So.
And final question for you, work-life harmony is the hardest thing for anyone in real estate.
Yeah.
You have quite a few children. You've got a big career.
Yes.
How do you manage it all?
It's funny. Before I came here, I had a bit of a life coaching session. So that's how. The balance between home and work is something that I have always struggled with. I find as a person, I throw myself all the way into things that I'm passionate about. And this career is certainly one of them. And that's not neglecting that I'm a mum at the end of the day. I have 4 daughters of my own and I'm raising 3 bonus children. So 7 girls in my house is a crazy time.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm tired. But it to me, the ability to switch off is again, just communication, and it's part of who I am. And I think it's why vendors like that I'm honest. I just took a week's leave and I just said, like, I'm going on leave. I eloped. I just
Congratulations.
threw it in there. But I said to my vendors before I was leaving, I'm taking a week off. It's really important that I spend this time with my family. Here's my team. We're all working together. Please direct your calls. And I think just communicating that you're not going to lose someone if you've built trust and explained yourself. If you ghost them, absolutely. But just got to talk. You've just got to talk. So, answering a call at 9 o'clock at night, probably not. I'll text you and I'll call you in the morning. So just trying to juggle. But the kids love seeing, houses and what I'm selling. The littlest is 4 and she always asks how many coins did that person pay to buy that house. And it's so funny how it works in her brain. So, and they love to letterbox drop. So they're really handy helpers.
Absolutely amazing. Well, Kyra, I want to thank you for sharing your story on We Are Selling. I know you listen to the podcast.
So much, yes.
And it must be quite surreal to listen to all those interviews and then suddenly here you are.
I had a bit of a imposter syndrome moment on the drive down here today. And I rang my boss and I was like, I can't think of a podcast that I've listened to where someone has been in the industry for 2 years. Why am I here? And he said, you're there because you deserve it. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. So it is an honour to be here, and I don't take for granted the position that other people are in the industry that you've spoken to as well. And that's a really cool connection to have. So thank you for having me.
And how inspirational that we can have someone come on and show what you can do in 2 years.
It's pretty crazy.
With 7 children.
Now we've got to keep it up.
That's right. But congratulations, incredible results. And from meeting you that first day, and I met many, many people
I
there
heard
first.
a little rumour that you were talking about me along the lines to someone. I can't remember when it was, but they were like, Lee mentioned you. And I was like, good, I landed.
There you go.
So,
but I meet so many people where their first experience at the Complete Salesperson course is, their boss has sent them along, or their third, fourth generation. And then you see them come back and do the course in the future.
Yes.
But seeing that progression is one of the greatest things for us at the training company to see happen.
Up to that course, I was just dressed casually because it was just a day. And there were people in full suits and I was like, oh my God, I don't belong here. But I really absolutely do. And I'm, so grateful. So thank you.
Well, congratulations. And thank you for joining us on We Are Selling.
Thanks, Lee.